Yes, it's 7:03.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to call the town board meeting of May 9th, 2023 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember those who served our country in the past and for those who continue to protect our country today. Thank you. Please note the emergency exits are the door you came in and the doors behind us. Oh, thanks. I was looking where the hell it went. Okay. At this time, I make a motion to open the public hearing on the amended short-term rental law.
I'll second.
Thank you.
7:04.
7:04. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we have amended some of the sections of our short-term rental law that we adopted earlier, and we want to amend some of the issues and some of the definitions that needed some tweaking so that we can regulate this law effectively. We will keep the public hearing open till the next meeting because we did not get back our comments from the county planning. So we will continue the public hearing until the next meeting. At that time, the town attorney will come and he will explain what the different sections that we're amending and the ramifications for that at that point. So I ask, are there any public written comments?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. And so let's, okay, Bill Crane?
No, I'm on the regular agenda.
Oh, the regular one, okay. Okay, is that you want general public comments or you want for the,
Both.
both, okay. So you weren't on that one, I just want to put you on that, hold on. You're welcome. Okay, Leonard, you're on for the public hearing.
No, that's.
You want to go on?
Agenda items.
You want? I have you on the agenda items.
Well, that's what I'm on, and then I wanted,
Public comment. Okay.
I got confused with the three forms there.
Okay. Okay. So then, no one is here for public comments on the public hearing on our short-term rental amendment law. So I'm going to adjourn the public hearing until May 23rd at 7 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm going to run through the resolutions quickly. The first three are our minutes. The fourth is our budget revisions. The fifth resolution is authorizing a letter of intent for payment in lieu of taxes, the pilot agreement. So historically, I just wanted to give a little history to this. The law for tax exemption was passed by New York State Legislature in 1991, which is important because that was the starting point for any municipality to enter a local law or resolution to opt out of the tax exemption provided by the Real Property Tax Law 487. The town missed the window back in 1991 to opt out of the tax exemption. Thus, this property gets the statutory benefit of the statute that exempts it from property taxation, any increase in the value of real property by reason of the inclusion of a solar energy system for a period of 15 years. This is mandatory. To soften the blow, the statute allows for the town and owner to enter into a pilot, which is what we're doing tonight. So all of this was somewhat decided in 1991 when no one looked to opt out of it at that point. So that is number 5. Then number 6 is we're revising and clarifying our procurement policy. There was a typo. Number 7 is revising the funding for the Gardner Hollow Road Bridge Capital. And we're almost finished with that project. We have some guardrails that have to still be put on that. We're establishing number 8 is establishing the Elena Drainage District Capital Project, which we had the public hearing, and this is the resolution. Last meeting we had the public hearing. This is the resolution to create it. Number 9, we are ratifying the town board of the town of Beekman, approving and ratifying the amended Beekman policy statement and procedure against sexual harassment and other forms of harassment. We need to more closely conform to the New York State model policy and thereby ensuring that the policy against harassment meets or exceeds the minimum standards. Number 10, we're approving the retention of PVE Engineering to prepare a report on ongoing contaminant sampling. They've been providing sample monitoring for the wells on site here with the Highway Department. It's a continuation of that monitoring that's been going on for a number of years. Number 11 is we're approving and ratifying and further amended the workplace violence prevention policy. And it's pretty much the same as the other policy. We're looking to more closely model our policy after New York State. Number 12 is a resolution to create repair reserve funds for the Dover Ridge Sewer and Water District. These repair reserve funds are for special unexpected repairs for water and sewer facilities and equipment. Number 13 is we're amending the employee practice compliance manual. Again, we're trying to have all of our policies model New York State policy and meet what their requirements. Number 14 is an application certification for payment, and it's payment number 3 for the Rec 1 ball field project. It looks great and it should be opened shortly. And then we have our payment of claims. Okay, so for our agenda items, Leonard?
And probably something that I don't expect to get an answer to tonight, but I'm going to raise the question anyway. And it starts with number 7, and that's the Gardner Hollow Bridge. There's a provision in there for $52,000 plus to come out of the Highway Department, and yet the general fund is only about $2,500. So I wondered why there is that kind of a discrepancy. I know the Highway Department will probably work on fixing the bridge, but I don't know why the Highway Department is going to have to pay that kind of money out of their budget. Number 8 was about the Elena drainage, and the question there is, why is the town authorizing a capital fund of $130,000 with all costs responsibility of JSM Properties? And that probably has something to do with what you tried to explain, but if they're not going to be taxed, I don't understand why we're paying for it.
Those are two different, you're confusing the projects. This is Elena Estates. We had the public hearing for that last week. The solar that we're talking about tonight for the pilot is not the same project.
Okay, well, we'll skip over that one. It's going to come to that the next meeting maybe. Number 9, who handles the new policy against sexual harassment in the town? Or does the town do it? Is it not done by an outside entity?
Depending on what it is, it can be handled outside or it can be handled inside. We have a committee inside.
Okay, so we don't, I'm asking who would handle it, and you're saying it would depend.
It would depend.
Okay, and that would probably also go for number 11 and for number 13, correct? Okay, number 10, we share the highway garage with the county in the salt shed. And why is it Beekman responsible for the service of the engineering firm if they also take advantage of the highway garage? That's the question. Number 12, should the residents of Dover Ridge have a public hearing since they will be affected by any charges that are going to be made to upgrade their system?
When, in fact, if we were going to do this, this is their money. It's just being put into a reserve fund. It's coming out of one of their funds into another fund. No money's being spent.
Okay, so they're not going to get any increase in
No.
anything. And number 14, will any of the money be paid by the teams using the ball field? Or if it's approved, where will the money come from?
We had discussed this a while ago. We had a $100,000 grant, and $56,000 comes from the town. And they rent the fields every year, the soccer and baseball.
Okay, that does just about takes care of all my questions about the agenda item. I'm always concerned about the taxes.
Okay,
I'm always concerned
thank you.
about spending the money in the town. So that's why I raised it. Thank you.
Where was the time? Okay, Bill?
Bill Crane, 254 Gardner Hollow Road. I was trying to speak on number 5, the solar panels. You explained a lot of it, so I'll just go over the history as I experienced it with this group. They were at the planning board for well over a year. They provided a lot of erroneous information. They had, on their charts, they were cutting down trees that weren't even on their property. Then all kinds of things like that. It went on and on and on. We were able to get them to save some trees, but it was really some kind of project. They said in their letter to you that we believe this is an excellent location. I'm quoting, we believe this is an excellent location to build a clean, renewable energy generation. They are cutting down over 300 trees. It's not a flat area. They went in, and also it's an historic farm that is getting damaged there in the process. It's that's these kinds of statements. Maybe we get used to them because it's this language, but it's just so outrageous given the way this company went about things. I personally think solar panels are great. They will help fight global warming, but the trees, by absorbing carbon dioxide, will probably do a better job. And they're cutting down all these trees that provide other benefits to wildlife and so on. And then the fact that they're getting away with, because of the 1991 oversight, they're getting away with paying $630 for the first year and around $700, when the rest of us are paying thousands of dollars for taxes, and they're paying peanuts.
The town attorney will discuss it next week, but
Okay.
it's on a portion. It's not all of the property, so they don't get the tax break on the entire property. It's
Okay,
just a portion.
that's reassuring a bit.
Yeah.
I hope.
I was not happy either.
I know. I would encourage you to be I would look for ways of.
We did, we can't.
Yeah, you can't. Okay.
The exemption was there.
Yeah, no, that's
or ignored.
fine. I noticed that they claim they already started. Anyway, it's expressing my frustration and the arrogance of this group that has no respect for our natural environment. None at all.
Thank you. Mr. DeMasi?
Is this agenda items?
No, it has to be. Is this about agenda items? Mr. DeMasi?
No.
Okay, well, this is what this,
Oh, I apologize. I thought it was.
Nope.
I apologize.
So he's on public.
okay, then I think we're ready. We're gonna start.
Okay. Whereas Town Clerk Lorraine Capistrano has provided copies of the minutes of the April 20th, 2023 Special Town Board meeting to all members of the Beekman Town Board, and whereas Town Board members have had the opportunity to review said minutes, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board hereby accepts the minutes of the April 20, 2023 Special Town Board meeting.
Can I just
Number
interrupt
two?
you? Are you on
Oh,
number 2?
sorry. What do you want?
That's okay.
All right, so you're doing number 2. Okay.
That was a second, yeah.
All right, well,
Second.
okay, town board discussion, hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Benalini?
I have to abstain. I was not at that meeting.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
And Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay, whereas the town clerk, Lorraine Abatuana, has provided copies of the minutes of the April 17th, 2023 town board meeting to all members of the Beekman Town Board, and whereas the town board members have had the opportunity to review said minutes, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby accepts the minutes of April 17th, 2023 town board meeting.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion, hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Benalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas Deputy Town Clerk Amy Goetz has provided copies of the minutes of the April 25th, 2023 Special Town Board meeting to all members of the Beekman Town Board, and whereas the town board members have the opportunity to review said minutes, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby accepts the minutes in the April 25th, 2023 Special Town Board meeting.
Second.
Town board discussion, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Benalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the Town of Beekman's Accounting Office recommends certain budget revisions based on department request and/or the Accounting Office review and analysis of expenditures or revenues, now therefore be it resolved that the following itemized revisions are approved by the Town of Beekman Town Board identified as budget revision number 2023, number 4, as follows.
I'll second.
Town board discussion, hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Benalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
And Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay. Whereas New Leaf Energy, through its South Greenhaven Solar One LLC affiliates, has submitted a notice of intent dated April 5th, 2023 to the Town of Beekman, notifying the town of its plans to build and operate a solar energy system as defined in New York Real Property Tax Law, RPTL, Section 487, 1B, as the project, with an expected nameplate capacity of approximately 3.2 megawatts AC on a parcel of land located in the town of Beekman, County of Dutchess, at 97 South Greenhaven Road, identified as map number 6757-00-082660-000, and whereas the town of Beekman is not opted out of RPTL Section 487, and whereas pursuant to RPTL Section 487-9A, if the taxing jurisdiction has not acted to remove the exemption under this section, and the owner or developer of such a system provides written notification to a taxing jurisdiction of its intent to construct such a system, then in order to require the owner or developer of such system to enter into a contract for payment in lieu of taxes, such taxing jurisdiction must notify such owner or developer in writing of its intent to require a contract for payments in lieu of taxes within 60 days of receiving the written notification. Written notification to a taxing jurisdiction for this purpose shall include a hard copy letter sent to the highest ranking official of the taxing jurisdiction. Such letter shall explicitly reference subdivision 9 of section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law, and clearly state that unless the taxing jurisdiction responds within 60 days in writing with its intent to require a contract for payments in lieu of taxes, such project shall not be obligated to make such payments. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Beekman hereby authorizes the supervisor to send a letter of intent along with a certified copy of this resolution to New Leaf Energy pursuant to RPTL Section 487-9A above, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
I'll second.
Town Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Werman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the town of Beekman adopted a procurement policy described under New York State GML Section 104-B in 2008, with the last revision in April of 2023, and whereas it is the town's objective to obtain materials, supplies, and equipment and services that are suitable quality in the accurate quantity from the right source at the most competitive price in compliance with the town's procurement policy. And whereas current economic and budgetary concerns make it necessary to establish better controls of expenditures before they occur, whereas the town board wishes to clarify a section as written in the policy due to a typographical error. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman does hereby adopt a revised procurement policy dated May 9, 2023 to be effective immediately, and be it further resolved that a copy of the revised procurement policy will be placed on the desk of each department head.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Werman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Beekman previously approved funding for the Gardner Hollow Road Bridge capital project totaling $952,443 in Resolution Number 51022-4, and whereas the town has reviewed the status of funding sources for the capital project's authorization, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Beekman hereby approves the revised total capital project authorized $954,493. Funding sources to be as follows: county grant $100,000, transfer in from the general fund $2,443, transfer in from the highway funds $52,050. ARPA funds is going to be $500,000, and bonds are going to be $300,000.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Werman?
Aye.
And Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Got you on that one. Whereas the town board of the town of Beekman was presented with a petition to establish a drainage district at Elena Estates, and whereas the town held a public hearing on April 25th, 2023, to establish such district pursuant to Article 12 of Town Law, an officially approved establishment by Resolution 42523-2, and whereas the map, plan, and report supporting the describing the plan to establish the drainage district with estimated capital cost of constructions to be $107,200, and whereas the town estimates relating engineer and legal costs are approximately $12,800, now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes creation of a drainage district capital project fund is $130,000 with all costs to be the responsibility of JSM Properties, Inc.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Werman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay, whereas the Town of Beekman's Beekman Policy Statement and Procedure Against Sexual Harassment and Other Forms of Harassment, the Policy Against Harassment, was adopted on October 24th, 2018, and whereas since the adoption of the Policy Against Harassment, the New York State Department of Labor, in conjunction with the New York State Division of Human Rights, has issued a sexual harassment model policy, the Model Policy, and accompanying minimum standards for sexual harassment prevention policies, the minimum standards. And whereas the town board is desirous to amend the policy against harassment to more closely conform to the model policy, and thereby ensure that the policy against harassment meets or exceeds the minimum standards. And whereas the town board is desirous in further amending the policy against harassment in response to the lodging of facially invalid claims for the possible purposes of harassing coworkers, and impeding the prosecution of town business by diverting finite municipal resources towards investigating and responding to such claims and away from rendering services to the town residents. And whereas the town board has reviewed and considered the proposed amended policy against harassment in consultation with legal counsel and wishes to adopt such amended policy against sexual harassment. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman hereby ratifies and approves the amended policy against harassment effective this date.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas New York State DEC is requiring collection of groundwater samples for analysis for emerging contaminants at the town's highway garage located at 4 Main Street, Polkway, New York. And whereas Partridge Venture Engineering, PC, doing business as PVE Engineering, who presently are responsible for the ongoing site management and monitoring at the town's highway garage, has presented a proposal to the town for this service in an amount not to exceed $7,929.50. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman does hereby approve the proposal from PVE Engineering, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the proposal in form and substance as attached hereto.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
And Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the town of Beekman's workplace violence prevention policy was adopted on December 1st, 2008, with revisions on November 16th, 2011, February 6th, 2016, June 21st, 2017, April 28th, 2020, and whereas the town board is serious in further amending the policy in response to the lodging of facially invalid claims for the possible purposes of harassing coworkers and impending the prosecution of town business by diverting, what is that word? Finite municipal resources towards investigating and responding to such claims and away from rendering services to town residents. And whereas the town board has reviewed and considered the proposed further amended policy in consulting with legal counsel and wishes to adopt such further amended policies, now therefore it is hereby resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman's hereby ratifies and approves the further amending policy effective this date.
I'll second it.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the New York State General Municipal Law Section 6 through 9 permits towns to create repair reserve funds to pay the cost of certain repairs to capital assets or equipment of a non-recurring nature. And whereas the Town of Beekman Town Board feels it appropriate to create repair reserve funds for the Dover Ridge Special Districts to pay the costs for special repairs to sewer and water facilities and equipment. And whereas the Dover Ridge Sewer and Water Districts had adequate unreserved fund balances of $80,039 and $115,981 respectively, as of year ends December 31st, 2022, to create the reserve fund balances. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Beekman approves the creation of repair reserve funds in the Dover Ridge Special Districts as follows. Dover Ridge Sewer District, $30,000. Dover Ridge Water District, $60,000. Be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to follow the prescribed procedures and provisions defined in the New York State GML for the use of the reserve funds.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limak?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the town of Beekman's Employee Practices Compliance Manual, the manual, was adopted on January 1st, 2016, and amended on May 11th, 2021. And whereas since the adoption of the manual, the New York State Department of Labor, in conjunction with the New York State Division of Human Rights, has issued a sexual harassment model policy called the policy and accompanying minimum standards for sexual harassment prevention policies, the minimum standards. And whereas the town board is desirous to amend these portions of the manual addressing the prevention of harassment and investigation of harassment complaints to more closely conform to the model policy and thereby ensure that the manual meets or exceeds the minimum standards. And whereas the town board is desirous of further amending the manual in response to the lodging of facially invalid claims for the possible purposes of harassing co-workers and impeding the prosecution of town business by diverting finite municipal resources towards investigating and responding to such claims and away from rendering service to town residents. And whereas the town board has reviewed and considered the proposed manual in consultation with legal counsel and wishes to adopt such amended manual, now therefore it is hereby resolved that the town board of the town of Beekman hereby ratifies and approves the amended manual effective this date.
I'll second.
Town board discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the town of Beekman is a party to a contract with Sport Tech Construction, the contractor, for the Beekman Recreational Baseball Field 1 project, and whereas the contractor has submitted an application and certification for payments, number 3, dated April 14, 2023, requesting payment in the amount of $156,000, less 5% retainage, $7,800, less previous payments totaling $95,475, for a total of $52,725, see attached. Whereas the contractor has requested full or partial payment of the items on continuation sheet that is attached to the payment request application covering the period of November 11, 2022 through April 14, 2023. And whereas the town engineer has reviewed the request and agrees with the quantity of work completed per the continuation sheet, and therefore recommends the town board authorize payment to Sports Tech Construction Corp. In the amount of $52,725 in order to satisfy application and certification number 3. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor of the town board to make payment to Sport Tech Construction Corp. As requested in application and certification for payment number 3 in the amount not to exceed $52,725.
I'll second.
Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Whereas the bookkeeper has audited and approved claims pursuant to Section 119 of Town Law as set forth in the attached abstracts, be it resolved that the payment therefore is hereby authorized as follows. Claims to be paid from the A General Fund, $63,078.82. Claims to be paid from the DA Highway Fund, $7,893.81. Claims to be paid from the SS Dover Ridge Sewer, $4,505.75. Claims to be paid from the SW Dover Ridge Water, $1,344.29. Claims to be paid from the T-Trust Fund, $5,225.77. Claims to be paid from the H Capital Fund, $1,605.61, giving us a total of $83,654.05. 4/27/2023, payroll number 9. The general fund is going to be $33,108.74. The highway fund is going to be $21,512.75, giving us a total of $54,621.49.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Town board discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Badalini?
Aye.
Councilman Limek?
Aye.
Councilwoman Warman?
Aye.
Supervisor Cavucci?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Thank you. Anybody have anything?
I have 2 things.
Oh, you do?
Okay, you go first.
Want me to go first?
We were notified by NISAG that the automated meters, or smart meters that were going to be installed, we were supposed to be in phase 1, which was going to start in May. We've now been notified that we are in phase 4, which will start either in the fall or towards the winter. So you won't be looking for it for this May. You won't be notified. You'll be notified when they are coming around in the fall.
Right.
Great. I'd also like to just say Arlington High School is going to invite everybody on Wednesday, May 31st at 6 p.m. for their Memorial Day remembrance. It's at 6 p.m. at Arlington High School in the William J. Sweeney Performance Hall. The address over there is 1157 Route 55, LaGrangeville, New York, 12540.
Thank you. Lorraine?
Just two things. I wanted to remind everybody that Memorial Day, the parade and ceremony, is on Monday, May 29th. Lineup will start 9:15. I'm going to say 9:15. Kickoff will be 10 o'clock, and there will be a ceremony here afterwards, followed with a barbecue at the Beekman Fire Department. One other thing, I just wanted to remind everyone that we are at the end of tax season for property. Last day to pay is May 31st. So anybody needs questions or whatever, feel free to always call me or email me.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
10 o'clock. Yes.
Yep, at 10 o'clock, the parade starts. Yep.
And I have from the Alzheimer's Association, they're having a free in-person event at noon Thursday, June 1st at the Beekman Senior Center, 31 Recreation Center Road, Hopewell Junction. If you'd like to register, call Danny Placini at 845-227-5783. I'd also like to point out that we are putting on the website, on our useful public info page, we're going to be posting information that's going to be of interest to our town residents. Does anyone else have anything else?
Yep, I just have one thing to say about the fire department. We're always looking for volunteers. We need the help. We need firefighters, we need EMTs, we provide the training. So if you can free up some time, please come and volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next regular town board meeting will be Tuesday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. We will open with the public hearing on our amended short-term rental law. And at this point, we'll go to public, general public comments. Bill?
I like your shirt, Bill.
Thank you. I'm wearing a shirt that was given to me tonight by Leonard. And I want to say I was so grateful for the way the board tried to fight the destruction of that beautiful forest. That you all should get one of these shirts. I don't know who would pay for them, but I feel like
It's a great shirt.
Pay for them ourselves.
you deserve them. At the last Conservation Advisory Committee meeting, there was some discussion about the mill house project and how much money it would cost to renovate and restore that house. I'd like to put in a word to try it, maybe to try to restore it, maybe by applying for grants and asking for volunteer help. It's such a beautiful site, and it would further the economic future of the town, I think, by in being a part of the ecotourism and the visits to historic sites that would draw people in and have them come in and spend money in our town and enjoy our town. That's actually a major thrust of the comprehensive plan. So when we put in a dog run, somebody volunteered some cement, and I think maybe people would come forward. I think it's really a nice site and nice to preserve the history, the great history of our town. So I hope that we can find some way to renovate, despite, I know it's high cost, but that's my wish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Leonard?
Hello again, my name is Leonard Jerm. I live at 112 Bayou Drive. A couple of things to piggyback on what Bill said. You know, his town historian, I know we have a town historian. I would like to be able to get in touch with her and find out if she is, in fact, the town historian, because we really have a lot of history in this town. There are a number of different spots where people can go and learn about the town. And it might be good for tourism too, not just the apple orchard up the block. The other thing is about, I know it's been raining, I know we're sick of the rain, but I also know that it hasn't been raining for a couple of days. As a veteran, I'm offended by the fact that nobody put up the American flag the last couple of days. I I passed around a book that you're probably all looking at, where I went on the honor flight, and I think that if we can't get somebody to put up the American flag, then I guess we're going to have to find somebody who's willing to do it.
We've bought new ones.
Hmm?
We've bought new ones, and they're coming in.
Oh,
Okay, and
well,
then it would put up.
it wasn't raining, and that was something that
It
caught
had
my
nothing
eye
to
right
do with
away.
the rain.
And then also, the last thing to say is because I'm not on the town board, so therefore, she might, as the supervisor, might have the last word, but this coming weekend is Mother's Day weekend, so I wish all the mothers in the town of Beekman a happy Mother's Day, and that includes the town board.
No, we appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. DeMassey?
This first billboard is where, this is one of 3 guys who stole my credit card and the feds caught them. And they've been in prison for a couple years now, and they send me periodic updates, which is great. Secondly, I'd like to know, July 27, 2018, Friday, about 4:30, I met Tony, or saw Tony at Cumberland Farms, and he told me about Greg getting that $40,000, and he had to give $5,000 to Barbara. Tony also told me about the resolution, and I asked before, if you could please tell me, why wasn't Greg Brown's name on the resolution that he should receive $40,000? You could have told to the town that he got the $40,000 instead of putting the recreation and playgrounds. I don't understand why he just didn't tell the truth. I mean, if Greg Brown's going to get the $40,000. And my last question is, please, did Greg Brown honestly and legally earn that $40,000? Can you answer that? Or not, please? No? Okay. Well, the last thing I have to say is to Mary. Mary, I really don't know you, but what I do know very
I will tell you right now, I'm going to stop you. Our guidelines are if you go personal.
Mary.
Excuse me.
I'm not going personal.
Okay, just giving you a warning.
I'm just saying, please, I'm just saying that from what I know of you, you're extremely smart. There's no question about it. And you can definitely outdo me when it comes to public speaking. That's what I was going to say to end this. Thank you.
Well, as you know, Mr. DeMassey, and you are the Mr. DeMassey who is in a number of articles, and I'll read one now. Police arrest man for topless sign. So I can assure you, Mr. DeMassey, as you leave, what you think of me one way or another means nothing to me, but I do have better morals than you. So let's read it. Putnam County, this is from October 25th, let me see here, 2019. It's the Highlands Current. Putnam County Sheriff's deputies accuse a Hopewell man on October 15th after he allegedly, they arrested a Hopewell Junction man, it's really small print, after he allegedly displayed a billboard outside the county courthouse in Carmel with photos of a topless woman. Douglas D. DeMassey, 66, was charged with 1 count of public display of offensive sexual material, a misdemeanor. The Sheriff's Department said in a statement that the billboard contained 3 large photos of a woman with no shirt, no bra, and both breasts entirely exposed. It said DeMassey had attached the billboard to the top of his Dodge SUV after driving it to the courthouse at about 9:45 a.m. I will point out that the courthouse is just down the street from a number of churches. That's my personal comment, it's not in the paper. DeMassey told police he displayed the billboard because of a dispute with Carmel attorney. He said the two men had appeared on the People's Court to resolve it, but that the TV judge, Marilyn Millen, ruled against him and said the photos were of her. The topless photos of Millen were taken by the paparazzi in 2013 and are posted online. DeMassey was given a ticket to appear at the Town of Carmel Court to answer the charges. I have a number of articles that were written about that. I think it was a vile, disgusting act that degrades, demeans, and dehumanizes women. I've said that before. Now, he comes up here periodically. He's repeatedly brought up these old issues, that you have absolutely no documentation to back up. You feel that we pay for easements, yet you found no evidence in records. Greg Brown was due his money as the town attorneys advised. Additionally, it was the town attorneys, it is labor law that we need to abide by. And the Dutchess County detective who investigated found nothing. And he investigated at Mr. DeMassey's demand. Greg Brown worked for and deserved to be paid for all of those hours. Greg wasn't spending his time on silly nonsense like you did to the judge posting topless pictures. Instead, he was busy preparing the fields for the children of Beekman. I wonder if Mr. DeMassey gave any consideration to his wife, his children, when you did this vile act, or did you give any consideration to the female judge's family at that point? He's repeatedly, this is old stuff that he has brought up. It's been addressed repeatedly over the 5.5 years that I've been supervisor, and to my knowledge prior to that. He has put in endless FOIL requests to this town clerk, to the prior town clerk, asking for the same information so he can prove whatever point he thinks is valid. We have repeatedly let you know we don't have this information that you're requesting because it simply doesn't exist. These endless FOIL requests cost the town staff, their time, their energy that they could be devoting to other residents for worthy causes. The endless legal bills concerning these issues with our town attorneys. The waste of town taxpayer money is what the injustice is here. Absolutely nothing to do with Greg Brown, who worked for it. I personally went through all of his time sheets for the period where he got this money. The money was there. The detective went through it with me. I had a whole presentation with him. Each and every payroll, he got what he deserved. Greg Brown put in an awful lot of time on weekends and evenings to get those ball fields ready for the children during the summer. So he really ought to take a lesson out of Greg Brown's book maybe and spend some time putting his energy into well worthwhile, perhaps volunteering for the fire department. They're looking for volunteers, but for doing something worthwhile as opposed to this kind of degrading activities against women. I find it horrifying, and I find it offensive that he can stand up here and say, Mary, I'd like to tell you you're intelligent. Well, anyone is more intelligent than a man who thinks that's a bright idea. So honestly, just about anyone, including a dead tree. So I'm very frustrated that this man is allowed to continually repeat these false accusations. It's really unfair, but God bless America. It's his First Amendment right, and I do believe in free speech, as you see. And but I don't think it's fair that free speech includes someone who gives a presentation with facts that are, in fact, not true. And I think that's really unfair to the people that he maligns, including the female judge. So, with that, I'm going to make a motion, unless anybody has something. I'm going to make a motion to close our meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, safe home and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Especially to you, Mary.
Oh, thank you.